So I wanted to try something a little bit different with that intro. So hope you enjoy it. I only just discovered it, not a couple of weeks ago, and I'm instantly obsessed with it. I mean, what isn't made better with old chiptune like sound and graphics from the NES and Super NES era? Like it was the best time for video games, and I mean that legitimately, because I will always have a deep connection with it, a very special place in my heart, because that's where it started for me. It all started for me at 3 years old, believe it or not. That's when I first started playing video games, and the NES was the first console I had. I've still got it. Still got that old console. It's actually sitting in my closet. I don't have any of the cables with me. I don't have any controllers, and all the games are gone, but I still have the original console, the physical console itself. So I want to actually see if it works after 27 years. Wow, that's really sad to say. Nearly 30 years since I started playing video games, and really, I don't know where I'd be without them. But nevertheless, welcome to another random podcast. I did say in the previous one this wasn't going to be a thing because, well, I don't want to be one of those YouTubers who's like, oh, start a podcast. You know, it's really, I mean, it would be cool, but I don't think at this present time you guys would feel up for it, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't think I would hold enough interest for everybody to want to listen to just an hour of me talking on my own. So that's why I don't want to do it until I know that you guys would be up for that, or if I was to do a podcast with other people. I think that would actually be a better option if I did podcast with other people, and we just, hang on, let me just adjust my microphone. I just want to, it should be working. I'll maybe turn it up a little bit. No, it should be fine. Yeah, so if I do a podcast with other people, it might hold the conversation better, but at the moment, these are really just time to fill in until I can start making videos. Update on you on today. Like, this is a big update in terms of what's actually happening. So, right. I think if you've seen my last couple of videos, you will know that my main laptop is broken, or it was just all sorts of faulty, and I eventually sent it in to, it's a Samsung Galaxy Book that's 4 or 5 years old at this point. So I actually went down to the Samsung store after the last podcast came out. I have since gone, and they said there might be a couple of issues with it, that you might be right in saying that it's a battery issue because it wasn't turning on, or worst case scenario, it's going to be an issue with the motherboard. So the whole idea was, we'll send it into the repair services, and I was like, okay. So I gave them the laptop, and they took it away, and then a few days later I got a message saying they're going to be working on it, and it's all good. So the whole idea for me was, if it was the battery, I would have been like, okay, just fix it, replace it, everything's fine. If it was going to be the motherboard, I want you to bring it back. I want you not to proceed with the repairs. Send it back to the shop, and I'll come pick it up when it's ready. And I will go to a data recovery and figure out how to actually get the data off the hard drive. And basically the computer would be kaput. But I'd at least have all my stuff. All my music, all my YouTube stuff. Stuff that wasn't uploaded to my portable hard drive in storage, and more importantly, 4 whole years of university work, which was stored on that computer, and I never backed up because I'm an idiot. So if I can get all of that, I'll be happy. I don't even really care about the music or like anything like that. Just get me my documents and get me my YouTube stuff. That's all I really need. Like, I can just get a bunch of music again. I can just get a bunch of pictures and wallpapers and everything again. It doesn't matter. Just the important stuff, really. So that's what I wanted to do, and it was always going to be the plan if it was the motherboard. Well, turns out it was the motherboard. They called me yesterday, as of this recording, and said that's what I wanted to do, and it was always going to be the plan if it was the motherboard. Well, turns out it was the motherboard. They called me yesterday, as of this recording, and said, right, it is the motherboard is faulty, it's going to take $870 to repair, because the computer is out of warranty, because I got it through my phone provider. I got it through them. I didn't buy it outright. I paid it off through my phone bill, essentially, and it's no longer in warranty because it's 4 or 5 years old. And I never bothered to actually go to Optus and tell them, right, I need proof of purchase for this 4-year-old computer, so that might be able to do something. But they said nope. Well, I didn't actually go, so no, technically it's out of warranty. $870 to repair, and yeah, it's the motherboard. So the computer is basically done. So I said nope. Don't repair it. I can't pay that. I'll never be able to afford that. So send it back. So I am currently waiting on them to contact me and say your laptop is ready to be picked up, and I can go back and actually go get it from the shop. So, and then I'll proceed from there. So basically, yeah, the computer is screwed. It is absolutely kaput, gone, completely broken. If I did repair the motherboard, if I did have the $870 to actually fix the motherboard, it would have essentially acted as a factory reset of the computer. It would have been completely, basically brand new. And I could probably buy a new cheap laptop for less than that. Or not a new one, but like a decent one. Even if it's secondhand, I can buy for less than what it would have taken to repair this. But yeah, I would have been screwed, so the computer is pretty much dead. So that is a real bummer. But I do have this one that I'm using now. It's the same computer, the same model, it's just a smaller one. And that is what I'm currently using until I can somehow get a new computer. Either a laptop, or I have to save up a crap ton of money to buy a new desktop computer. Which has always been the plan, but it's always a struggle for me because, you know, I don't really have much. So that's that. Looks like things are going to be on this computer from now on, which means I do have OBS, I do have Audacity. The only thing I really need to do is, well, really, now that I know that computer is finished. Really, now that I know that computer is finished, I can essentially start doing videos again. Regular, like, gacha videos. But I'll just have to do it from this computer. Because this is, I guess, my main computer now. I actually started using Adobe Premiere Rush on this computer, and I haven't figured out all the kinks yet, but it's not bad. I actually used that to edit the last podcast, or render the last one, and it's not bad. It's very simple. It's just I've got to figure all the stuff out, and then I'll be able to actually use it from now on for gacha videos. So gacha videos can actually return quite soon. All I really have to do is just actually get back to playing them, because I stopped playing them again because I wasn't doing any videos. And yeah, I can experiment with OBS a little bit, because I used I used OBS to record my Nintendo Direct reactions video. I recorded it live and just edited it and chopped it down and then uploaded it from there. So it worked quite well because I wanted something that actually did a decent screen capture, and it actually worked quite well, and I'm really happy with it. So I might start doing more reaction stuff. There was I would have actually reacted to the State of Play yesterday. I would have done a video for it had I not been at school. It was at 9 o'clock in the morning my time, and yeah, that's when my class starts. So I actually watched it during a coffee break, just really quickly, about 15-20 minutes we had for a coffee break, and I just watched it then. And holy cow, it's crazy. A bunch of new crap that they released. Square Enix released a bunch of games that aren't Chrono Trigger remastered or remade, or Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 or Final Fantasy 16. Instead, they unveiled a bunch of whole new IPs. So I don't know what the hell's going on over at Square Enix, but yeah, whatever you're doing, just you get your priorities in order. What else was there? There was a bunch of games I don't really care about. Forspoken, I don't really care. There was a Gundam game. I think it was like a 6v6, like a PvP game. Which, yeah, at least we got a Gundam game on current consoles in the West, which is cool. But again, it's a game. To the one thing that actually did interest me, and that was Exo Primal. That game from Capcom about hunting dinosaurs in body armor that isn't a new Dino Crisis. And people were pissed. Like, oh my god, this looks so much like Dino Crisis. And I didn't even realize it at first. But I was like, you're an organization that has dudes in body armor with like superpowers and cool shit, and you're fighting a horde of dinosaurs that have come out of a vortex from space or another dimension or wherever, and you fight them in the city. And looking at the trailer, the battle system kind of looked like a Muso game, and that's why I was excited, because I was like, this is a Muso style game where you feel system kind of looked like a Muso game, and that's why I was excited, because I was like, this is a Muso style game where you fight hordes of dinosaurs in body armor. Sign me up. I don't care what it is, that just sounds really cool. And then yeah, so it wasn't Dino Crisis, even though there's a character from Dino Crisis, there's a character that looks like a character from Dino Crisis. I never played Dino Crisis, so I don't really have that much connection to it. But it's like, that looks like that character from Dino Crisis. Is this a spiritual thing? No, it's just a new IP. And I was really, really interested. I was like, wow, this looks really cool. I can't wait to check this out. And then I heard somewhere they mentioned it was a multiplayer PvP style game. And then I immediately lost interest. I was like, man, why couldn't it just be a cool action adventure game like Muso? I wouldn't mind playing more Muso. I wouldn't mind playing more Muso games. Like, I'm gonna play the new Fire Emblem Warriors game, 3 Houses, because 3 Houses is a game that I really love, and Muso is a game I can really get behind. Because I played a couple of them. I did start playing Persona 5 Strikers, and it's not bad. And I also played. It's not an official Muso game, but it's the Hyperdimension Neptunia U Action Unleashed on the PS Vita. The game that's not for the Wii U, but it's essentially the Muso game. And I played it, and it was really fun. So I was thinking, yeah, I want to play this, and then no, it's another PvP game. So really literally nothing at that State of Play had me hooked. something that would have gotten me really interested, because you have to really play to my strengths and go right up my alley if you want to get me to play your game. Like, if it was, yeah, a Muso game where you fight dinosaurs from a vortex in body armor, that sounds cool. Made by Capcom, spiritual successor to Dino Crisis, hell yeah. PvP is not it, because I don't play multiplayer games. I've never had a computer or a console that's been powerful enough to play multiplayer games, and I don't care about playing games with other people, especially considering the toxicity of most popular multiplayer games. I just don't care. None of my friends have ever been interested in playing multiplayer games, so we just don't bother. We'll stick to what we like to play, and that is mostly, well, we just don't bother. We'll stick to what we like to play, and that is mostly it's actually JRPGs or RPGs and action adventure games in general. Well, now that I think about it, or at least that's what I like. So yeah, nothing from State of Play that interested me at all. So a reaction would have been pointless in the end. But yeah, I want to do more reaction videos in the future, especially for presentations like that, like Nintendo Directs and other things. Because yeah, as much as I like to lower my expectations and think this is gonna suck, it's still exciting in its own way, because it might be cool. There might be some games that I'll really like, and you might get a reaction out of me, either positive or negative. Case in point, my reaction, like an update to what's going on the channel and what's going on in my life. So that's pretty much it on that regard. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, I mentioned in the last podcast I was going to pick up Legends Arceus. I have done that. I went and picked it up. I have put in just under 45 hours of gameplay so far. So I have pretty much done nothing but play that game the entire week, and it is great. It is a game that's really different in so many good ways, but it's also a game that definitely has its hang-ups. Good ways, but it's also a game that definitely has its hang-ups. It's a great game that has issues, or at least issues that I found with it personally. But apart from yeah, the game is great. The game it's actually really fun. It can be incredibly frustrating a lot of the time, but it's something that I still haven't gotten enough of, and still have enjoyed immensely over the last week. Considering that that's the only thing I've done all week is just play that game, and it's really great. But having said that, I'd like problematic with it. I'm not going to talk about the graphics, because it's a Pokemon game. It's done by Game Freak. They're crunched to hell. What do you expect? And I think I mentioned in the previous podcast the issues at Game Freak when they're working on too many things at once. So I'm not going to go into that. Although I will say it only bugged out on me once. I've been hearing a lot of things that there's actually bugs in the game and glitches. It glitched out on me once, where I was in Jubilife Village and I was talking to some NPC about a mission, and pretty much the whole world in one direction just glitched out and just bugged out, and it was crazy. And I looked away, but every time I looked back, it would do the same thing, and I didn't stop until look back. It would do the same thing, and I didn't stop until I teleported to another part of the town. The only time it happened, at least Sword and Shield wasn't buggy. It was graphically, it was a bit of a mess, but it wasn't a glitchy game. It actually worked. It was actually fairly functional. And that's the thing people forget about that game. It was sort of a disappointment. It was fun, but it wasn't what people expected. But at least it was a fully functional game that didn't glitch out on you. This game kind of has that. It's very frustrating at times. Now, I don't play FromSoft games. I don't play Souls-like games. I really don't have any interest in playing any of the From Software games. And I bring this up because Elden Ring and Legends Arceus pretty much fell by the wayside because of Elden Ring. But they're very similar in a lot of ways. Or at least that's what I feel when playing Legends Arceus. The frustration on certain Pokemon is just, it's unbearable. It kind of is unbearable. It's just you can't really get anything done because their aggression is just so... And I haven't done like any of the crazy stealthy stuff, like use smoke bombs and anything like that. I've just been trying to do it normally, and I've found ways to make it work. But it's still kind of frustrating when you're trying to get a catch streak together, when you're trying to deal with outbreaks. I have found a few shinies so far. Apparently one was part of the game. It's the mission and you catch it no matter what. And I thought that was really cool. Some shinies. I actually found some really cool ones as well. Not like crappy shiny. Oh, two of them are cool. One, not so much. I got a shiny Licky, which is just bright yellow, so that's great. I got a shiny Ursaring, which is bright green, and that's even better. That is really fun shiny, and I don't want to evolve it to the new Ursaluna because its shiny is not as good. I want to keep my big green bear. And the other one was I actually caught a Rhyhorn. That was cool. At least it was a really good color, and I evolved it all the way to Rhyperior. So I've got a shiny Rhyperior now. And the other one was, I mean, should I spoil the game? I don't really want to spoil it because I know there's probably some people who still haven't played it yet. So I don't want to really spoil too much, but bear in mind the shiny people who still haven't played it yet. So I don't want to really spoil too much, but bear in mind the shiny that is part of the game. I did evolve all the way, and I have that now. I am a shiny hunter, so I want to get a living dex of all the shiny Pokemon to add to my Pokemon home. And that has been my quest. Or really, it has been my quest to complete a living dex for the last 6 years. But, yeah, so... But it is frustrating when you're trying to put things together, when you're trying to just get catch after catch after catch, because they react very erratically. A lot of Pokemon do it too, even like the innocent ones. I only just discovered today there is a person in the town that gives you charms and stuff that sort of boosts your health, or not really health, but like how long you can sort of thing before you black out, and like the Pokemon attack you too much and you black out and they have to come pick you up and you lose a bunch of items and stuff. You can last longer in that regard, and other boosts as well. I only just discovered that today, and it would have been very useful at the start of the game had I known. So I'm 45 hours in and I only just figured that out. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other things that I haven't really discovered yet. The one thing I did find an issue with, and this is not the game, this is more on my part, there are so many different buttons for everything. Like, and it's really, because I use a Power 8 Pro controller for the Switch, and it's just like, oh, this button does this thing, and this button does this, and you gotta press this, and then I press the wrong button. For a while, I was pressing X to open the menu because that's what a Pokemon game is. That's how open the menu because that's what a Pokemon game is. That's how Sword and Shield did it. That's how Let's Go did it. Or that's how all of the games on the Switch did it. Even games on the 3DS did it that way. Press X to open the menu. And I keep pressing X and all it does is just switch between your Pokemon and your items in the corner of the screen. And I was like, ugh, I keep forgetting and I have to press this button to access the menu, and then this button does this thing where you sort out your items, and I do that all the time because I'm OCD. And then I keep accidentally pressing the capture button on my controller so it takes a picture instead of doing what I wanted to do, and it's just really finicky. And I still haven't got it. I still press the wrong button by accident on occasion, even after a week of getting used to it. So that's really my main issue. You get the option to eventually fly with the Braviary, and the one thing they didn't add is, I mean, there's such like quality of life changes or improvements they could have made with movement. There's no like super dash button, so you can run using the control stick, but it's not fast enough. It really isn't. The only way you can get faster and move faster is if you roll. If you press the Y button to roll, and that's really the only way you can move. There's no super dash button. There's no way to move faster. And because it's so open world, it takes forever to get to places. You can't use your ride Pokemon in town. So you can't like get on your Weredeer and just, stroll around town that way. You have to literally run everywhere and just use the roll to dash in a way. They could have added a dash button. They could have given me the option to be like, okay, I want to ride my Weredeer in town so I can get to places faster. I know I can just teleport to a place, but you have to go through all the loading and stuff like that, and it's just, I'd rather not do that. Another thing, Braviary needs a hover button. That would have been really useful, because you try to dash with the B button to fly faster, and he sort of ducks. So the longer you dash, the more he's actually going downwards, and he'll eventually land. And because most of the areas you need to really use, so the longer you dash, the more he's actually going downwards, and he'll eventually land. And because most of the areas you need to really use Braviary to fly, they're the mountainous areas. So it's like, okay, you gotta get off him. You gotta press the button to reactivate him, and then he'll like hover so you can get to like another level, and then you gotta do it again, and then you're clinging on to mountains, so you gotta get the Sneasler assist to climb up mountains to get to a flat area where you can activate him again, and so he can fly up. If it had like a fly up button where you could be like press X to, or press maybe press A. A wasn't being used for anything in that instance. Press A to sort of fly, go up high, downwards. They could have just gone straight, and it would have been fine. It would have been a lot easier to use, and it would have been okay. That's the other main issue I had. There's no other vehicles. I mean, a staple of a Pokemon game that would have been really fun for this is a bicycle. I don't know if they had bicycles back then. I mean, they must have had some mode of transportation to like get around faster. I don't know. But a bike would have been fun. I mean, I got a phone, for Christ's sake. Arceus couldn't give me a bike? Jesus. The Arc bike. Just to roll around faster, and everyone would be like, whoa, what's this thing? And I go, it's a bike, and it's like, oh, but I show people the phone and they just take it in stride. No one's like, whoa, what is that crazy device? And they're like, this is my Arc phone device. And they're like, this is my Arc phone. And people are like, no way, that's some kind of magic. But nah, people don't really care. They're just like, oh, that's a phone from God. Because I think they're pretty okay with the idea that, yeah, I fell out of the sky, and I might have been summoned here by God. When really they should have been freaking the fuck out about something like that happening. So yeah, that's that thing. Attacks on Pokemon that try to attack you. I didn't realize they home, and you have to duck out of the way at the last second to avoid it. That's really annoying. And like, their health is not good at all. You can get the charms to increase your longevity, but it's not really that great at all. And in an outbreak, it's just, you can't. You have to fly away and go to another area. And it happens all the time, and I've just found it frustrating. Nevertheless, I'm actually doing some post-game stuff now because I've completed the story. The story ended with no big pomp and circumstance. It just was like, okay, you saved the day, you caught the legendary, let's go home, and then credits roll. Like, there's no special like thing that happens, no special cutscenes, no big celebration thing, nothing to allude to anything happening post game, like none of that. I remember Sun and Moon's post, nothing to allude to anything happening post game, like none of that. I remember Sun and Moon's post, like not post game, but sort of end of game, where you're like, okay, you won the Pokemon League, you then have this huge party with a bunch of cutscenes, and then you're like, okay, let's go capture a legendary, and then you have a legendary Pokemon battle, and then there's another like bunch of cutscenes, and then there's the credits and the big goodbye. That is what I expect from an end game. Like, it's just really just go all out with it. But no, there wasn't any. There was no like thing to end the story, the main story. Even though technically the main story didn't end because the second set of credits, because I haven't reached the true end of the game, but there still could have been something to be like, yeah, you did it, you saved the day, and the rest is really up to you. But nah, no credit. It was really basic credits too. It wasn't like all fun and stuff. It was just basic credits with their crappy text, and then it said the end, and then that was it. I don't think it even said the end. It just rolled on, and then, okay, you got a whole bunch of here's your post credit, here's your post game stuff, catch all these legendaries, and then be like, okay, well, actually there was some major story stuff, I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say, it's really obvious, like, in terms of what happens. You said, yeah, I knew this was going to be a thing. Like, that's like no subversion of expectations, no surprise. It was like, yeah, this feels like something that I could smell from a mile away, and this person is it turns out this person is evil. Like, yeah, it was too obvious, and I think that really dragged it down a lot. And what I will say is that in typical Pokemon fashion, that villain in question Yeah, just one Pokemon battle. Albeit it's a difficult Pokemon battle, but you can eventually get it done. And once you do, no, that's it. Like that. Albeit it's a difficult Pokemon battle, but you can eventually get it done. And once you do, no, that's it. Like that's it. Turns over a new leaf, changes of heart, and then they're gone out of the story forever. Like they literally disappear from the rest of the game, and that's it. Typical Pokemon where they just don't. It's a typical villain. One Pokemon battle, and then that's it. They're gone. They're essentially out of the story. They might as well have died, like legit, because they're never heard from again. They're never seen again. No one really talks about them, and that's it. Like it's finished. That sucks. That really does suck. I expected a lot more in that regard. But yeah, the post-game content is fine. There's still plenty of other like side quests that I have to continue doing it in Legends Arceus. I think that might be a good method for me if the aggression wasn't so damn high. I did the Daybreak stuff, which was really fun, which was fine. So now I've actually triggered the massive outbreaks, and that's a really good way to get shiny Pokemon apparently. There's no concrete method to getting them, it just happens, and it's kind of cool when I actually did get the shinies. So I'm just going to keep doing it that way. And you have to, if you want to actually beat the game, you do have to complete the Pokedex. So at least completing the Pokedex and catching all of the Pokemon actually does lead to something. Like it's not just oh, do it if you can, gotta catch them all, a challenge thing. It actually is critical path. So at least there's that. That's replay. That's replay. That's not replay value, but like keep playing value. Like if they do it that way. So that's fine. And I'm currently in the middle of that. I'm hunting. I did spend today hunting a certain group of legendaries that are insanely difficult to encounter, but also difficult to actually catch and engage in a battle with. Like first you have to engage in the battle with them, and that's a challenge all in itself. You probably know who I'm talking about, but I won't spoil it because I don't want to spoil things for people who haven't played the game, and I'm sure there's a few of you. So yeah, go play it if you like having a frustrating time, because it's otherwise otherwise a good game, but it's a good game that it's a good game with a lot of hang-ups. I will say that. I think it's a Pokemon game that's tried to do something different and more or less succeeded, but is still bogged down by typical Game Freak Pokemon Company issues. That's really the best description for it. But at least it's a new type of experience. That's all I'll say on it, and I will continue to play it, and I will continue to have fun and get frustrated in equal measure, because it was an experience I can leave being mostly satisfied, and probably put a crap ton of time into it until the next game comes out, or I'll go back and do some shiny hunting via egg hatching and Sword and Shield. I haven't picked that up for a while. Or maybe I'll just go back and play Persona 5 Strikers. That's also a thing I can do. Now that I've actually played this game and more or less finished it. So that was my review on Pokemon Legends Arceus. As spoiler free as I can possibly get, without just completely throwing everything away. And the last thing I will say is that Irida is best girl, and I will not hear anything against that. There are a ton of really cool characters in the game. They're actually like kind of good and get some semblance of development. but yeah, typical Pokemon experience, there's not that much room for development. They get some, but not all. And when it came to choosing one of Irida was my favorite character throughout the whole thing. And I'm going to try and make it in my headcanon that they hook up, like my character and Irida. Because I'm playing the male character, so yeah, that is my headcanon now. And that's the end of that. So yeah, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Good game, bogged down by Game Freak's usual shenanigans. So probably a 3.5, maybe 3.75 out of 5. It could be a 4 if, it gets, if I put more time into it and I just become more connected to the game, then yeah, I'll bump it up to a 5. But for now, it's good. Like a B+. I'd give it a B+. But there's just some into it and I just become more connected to the game, then yeah, I'll bump it up to a 5. But for now, it's good. Like a B+. I'd give it a B+. But there's just a few very obvious things that keep it from being any higher than that. And that's really all I can say about it. I'll probably say again, it's a fun game, but like, alright, that's it. I'm done. Go. It's so contradictory, isn't it? It really is contradictory. I say go buy it, and then I say it's got a ton of issues. Like, is that okay? Does that make me a contradictory bitch? Like, does that actually constitute a decent review of a game? I don't know what makes a good review. I'm not a critic. And I know a lot of people take game reviews. And I know a lot of people take game reviews seriously, and that's really make or break. But I still think there are games with quality of life issues and improvements that could be made that can still be very fun for you personally because you put the time in. And this is one of those games. So, yes, definitively, it's good with a lot of hang-ups. Buy it regardless because it's something new from Pokemon, and if you want there to be innovations, if you want there to continue being changes to the main Pokemon formula from now on, if you want this open world different style of gameplay to continue for the Pokemon franchise, then buy this game. Buy it, play it. I think I said in the last podcast as well that Gen 9 Scarlet and Violet is going to be using sort of the similar mechanics to Legends Arceus, and that would have been a big problem had this game bombed. And I'm glad it didn't. It actually did rate fairly highly on most review sites. On Metacritic, I think it got somewhere in the mid-80s, and I think people are actually really enjoying it as well. So that I'm glad that is a thing. I'm glad it's actually a good game that succeeded and is rating well and is popular and is still fun, albeit still has issues that they need to work out, Game Freak. So yes, if you want this to continue, if you want them to be like, innovate the game, change the formula, then do it. Just ask them to just take their time with their, instead of trying to rush them out, because the same things will keep happening. At least Sword and Shield wasn't a buggy mess. This could have been a buggier mess than what it was, and I'm lucky that I only got the one major bug to happen. So yeah, I don't know how other people have gone, but yeah, at least Sword and Shield wasn't like that. At least they, brought that out and it was fully functional. They could keep doing patches, they keep doing updates, and I really think they should, because it's a game that deserves more updates and more missions and extra stuff in it. But yeah, buy it. buy it so they can keep doing new things. They can keep changing Pokemon and making it new and fun and exciting again. Because this is genuinely the most engaged I've been in a Pokemon game for a while. And I've played all of the Pokemon games from Gen 6 onwards. And they've all been fun because it's Pokemon. But at the same time, this actually engaged me in a way that was very, very different. And that's a good thing. I actually banged my fist on the desk in frustration today. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but either way, that's something Pokemon has not done ever. I have never felt that way about a Pokemon game. I've gotten frustrated because certain things are bullshit in battles, but I've never been angry. This made me angry, what I did today. So that's... I can take that as an overall positive, because at least a game was engaging and exciting and frustrating enough to be like, I need to get better at this. I need to do better, and I want to keep playing so I can keep getting better. You know? So, hooray! Legends Arceus was a success in the end. I will say that. B+. Right, so that is my review for Legends Arceus, and that pretty much, I think, can be the end of this podcast. I said all I have to say. There was really nothing else, so I hope you enjoy it. I don't know how many people watched the last one or listened, or how long they actually listened for, but again, not a regular thing, at least for now. I'll just keep doing them whenever I want to talk about stuff, I guess, because it's easier than doing a video. So if you are enjoying them and you actually do want to get more and on a more regular basis, then let me know, because yeah, it's easy stuff to make until I can get back to what I actually do. And then yeah, at least I'm putting something out for you guys to enjoy in your own unique way. So yeah, let me know. So yeah, let me know if this is actually to your liking. But nevertheless, gacha videos will be coming back very soon, because, well, this computer that I'm working on is here to stay, and I'll have to sort of work stuff out. But yeah, looks like this is going to be it. This is going to be the moment that I get back into doing my regular content now. I just got to work some stuff out, actually get back into the games and start grinding, and then I can release my regular content. So watch this space. I'll be back very soon for more regular stuff, and I might experiment with some other content as well. Gameplay videos, reaction stuff, whatever. I did say I wasn't going to do that in the beginning, but circumstances change, and now I have to think on the fly, and I have to come up with new ideas, because the gacha thing's not going to last forever. I don't think. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed. You can keep the conversation going, I guess, by just following me on my socials, Twitter, Instagram, my anime list. You can have a chat in the comments. I like chatting in the comment section with you guys. It's really cool, because it's mostly positive, 99% positive. I don't really get any hate, which is a great thing. Not that I'm, anticipating it, knock on wood. But yeah, that's cool. Keep the conversation going. Talk about Legends Arceus. Have you played it? What do you think? Do you enjoy it as much as I have? Are you looking forward to the games that were announced in the State of Play? Do you actually care about what Square Enix is doing? Or do you just be like, get on with Final Fantasy 16 or 7 Remake Part 2 already? So let me know in the comments and we'll have a chat. Enjoy the rest of your day or night or whatever. And I will see you guys around in the next video whenever I choose to make it. Until then, bye-bye.